The organizer is present. Please stand by. Your conference will begin shortly.
Welcome back to part 3 of a special webinar from WealthPire, and it's called The Power of the S-Curve with author Bob Joyner. A reminder that this webinar is brought to you by First Hour Trading, and at the end of this program, we'll give you more information about how you can have a special trial use of the First Hour Trading system with Manny Backus, and the place to go to find out more information about that is firsthourtrading.com/details.html. Bob, is the market too volatile right now for the S-curve approach to day trading to work well?
Rick, I love volatility. It's how day traders make their money. You know, I hate a day when everything's flat, and some days, you know, there are some days like that this week actually, where the market just seemed to be range bound, is what we call it. It wasn't moving much at all, and some days like that, you just turn off your computer and go for a walk or something. It's not worth trading. But days like today, where it went up, I think it was up to 150 or so at one point, ended the day at 80 up. But it was just a great roller coaster ride and made the day a lot of fun. so I love volatility. When you put the S curve on top of a volatile day, it gives you real predictable entry and exit points, Rick. So yeah, I love it.
Bob, how does the S-curve approach to day trading mesh with Manny Backus's First Hour Trading system?
You know, I have visited Manny, and Manny and I have talked on many occasions, and he's familiar with my system, and a great guy, a great trader. One of the great things that Manny does, and I've said this before, and I really mean it, is I wish I had discovered Manny back when I first started trading, and I'll tell you why. Manny makes it so easy for a trader who's just, you know, getting their wings, so to speak. What he does is he tells you exactly when to buy, exactly when to sell, or if you're shorting, he tells you when to short it, when to cover it, and just takes all the guesswork. He does all the legwork for you. He tells you when to do it. You're in and out of that seminar in an hour, if not less, and you come away with some very predictable results. Somebody who has at least $25,000 in capital who can trade that system can make some very predictable returns. And the key thing, again, is compounding those returns over time. If you're not going to take the money out and you keep adding that money back into that account and keep trading that account over and over again without taking money out, hopefully, the wonder of compounding takes over on top of that, and it's just it's a glorious thing. But one of the things that Manny does, and I mentioned this, when a kid learns to ride a bike, a lot of times they're going to have 4 wheels instead of 2. They're going to have training wheels. And the reason for that is it kind of gives you a sense of balance. It allows you to enjoy the ride. It gives you a much more secure feeling while you're learning a new skill. And Manny does that for folks. As he puts them in this group and he says, "Okay, do this. Buy it now, sell it now, take the profit, and go home." That's a great learning tool. It teaches people how to get comfortable buying and selling stocks on a quick basis. It teaches them how to make regular profit. And then for those who want to day trade, well, you can take the rest of the day and keep practicing your skills, either paper trading or doing live trading, and make some other money on the side, hopefully on your own or with the help of somebody else. But that first hour can go ahead and get you your profit in for the day, and you got the rest of the day to keep working and tweaking your system, whatever it is.
Bob, we have a question from Roger, and that is, how do you search for the types of stocks that you trade?
Good question, Roger, and that really ties into the response that we got from a third of the audience, is how do you find these stocks? I use a system through Scottrade. I use Scottrade Elite, which included in that system gives me a great tool for finding stocks. And I simply plug in the parameters that I'm looking for, and I go into those details actually in my first book about the gap-down trading strategy. But and it spits out for me on my computer screen every morning a list of gap-down stocks. And just to kind of touch briefly on that, Rick, gap-down stocks are stocks that have gone down, in my book, have gone down at least 3% from their previous day's close. Okay, that by nature is going to be a volatile stock. That by nature is going to be a stock that something's going on there, good or bad. There may be some bad news associated with it. It could be just the fact that somebody sold a bunch and it's gone down, and so everybody else just stops. The floor broke through on several levels, and the stock went down. And then what happens is people move in, they see the bargain, if it is a bargain, and then they start buying it, or people start covering their shorts, and the price, wallops back up again. So to answer your question, Roger, in my system in Scottrade Elite, which is not my system, but Scottrade's system, it has the ability to have those stocks just brought right to your screen. So every morning when I get up, what I do is I open up my computer and I have those scans going on. So I will typically have anywhere from 10 to 20 gap down stocks and 10 to 20 gap up stocks waiting for me by 9 o'clock in the morning. And then that's when I begin my study of those. I begin to look at news related to those stocks, and then I move from there into the charts and wait for the right buy or sell signals. Pretty straightforward, actually.
Thank you, Bob. You're listening to a special webinar sponsored by the First Hour Trading System. If you sign up for the First Hour Trading System today, you can be joining Manny Backus tomorrow in his trading session. So Manny looks forward to you joining him on his free trial offer. We have a question, actually two questions from Neil, Bob. Is your trading strategy good for index futures as well? And the second question, how many trades on average does a day trader do?
Number one, Neil, I don't do anything except trade stocks. It's long and short. I'm not into anything else other than that. So I don't feel qualified to speak, honestly. I know people do a lot of different things, options, etc. And so far, I have found my place here, and I found it enough just to try to master this. And I feel like if I can get that 2 to 3% average gain per day, which I can, then it's going to be difficult to beat that. If you've got that $25,000 in equity in your account, and you've got your margin, which actually is going to mean that you've got $50,000 available to trade, then you could, the best way to do that actually is to try to do 2 or 3 day trades at a time, and you can use my gap down strategy and do 2 or 3 of those and break it up. I would not suggest buying $50,000 of one stock. That's just a little bit too risky, I think. But if you can break that up a little bit, to where you're investing $10,000 to $15,000 in each trade each time, that leverages your capital, I think, the best way.
Bob, we have a question from Jeffrey. He says, as a beginner, it would seem I'd have to filter out all the different approaches. Who should I listen to?
Me? No, I'm just, if you're brand new, you need to read some stuff. Read me and read whoever else makes sense to you. And part of that's going to be the way it's written. Does it make sense? But the main thing is you got to start paper trading before you try any new strategy at all. You got to try it out. Another reason I like Scottrade is they have a way that you can do virtual trading, and they're not alone in that. Other people offer that as well. But for example, Scottrade will give you $100,000 just to kind of play with in virtual trading, and you can try out different strategies and see how well you do before you actually put some money down.
Bob, we have a follow-up to that. Roger says, well, what about interactive brokers? He thinks they're less expensive than Scottrade.
Go for it. I mean, there are some people who are lower cost. I guess what happened was I started with Scottrade a while back, and I'm just so comfortable with what I've got set up now that, the $7 fees to get in or the $7 to get out is minor compared to the comfort I feel in using the system. But, you don't have to use Scottrade by any means, no.
You're listening to a webinar with author Bob Joyner discussing his book, The Power of the S-Curve. It's been brought to you by First Hour Trading. And right now, Manny Backus of WealthPire is offering a free trial subscription to the First Hour Trading System. To get more details, go to firsthourtrading.com/details.